Hello fellow citizens, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Elfie, just a girly pop trying to figure out this Star Citzen thing. And today, I'm going to be visiting ArcCorp for the first time and exploring Area 18. Before leaving, I had to go say goodbye to all of my friends from my exploration of New Babbage and Orison. I've been loving exploring in my Drake Cutter because it's small and easy to get around. It was a very clear and beautiful night taking off from my home planet of New Babbage, and I'm definitely getting a lot better at taking off and landing in these spaceports. Once I got the route all set up, we were ready to go explore ArcCorp. And it wouldn't be a Star Citzen video without some kind of hiccup. My computer decided to update Windows during landing, so I lost that footage, but this gave me the opportunity to see the rooms, and these are actually really spacious and very nice. I headed down to the lobby, and this is where things started to get a little weird. There was a guy sitting in proper shitting position behind the counter, and then when I walked outside, there were some dead bodies and a bunch of people who were hovering over, but when I turned the corner, there were definitely a lot more than I expected. I checked out the dead bodies and definitely stole some guy's pants. And then I found a burrito on the ground by this food stand, so I ate it. I also got a soda so that I wouldn't be thirsty while shopping. Looking at the map, I knew I wanted to check out Casaba for some clothes, possibly the Cubby Blast, and then maybe some of the other places. It looked like the spaceport was different from where I woke up in the habitation center, and there's also a convention center that I wanted to check out. As far as shopping goes, Casaba was cute. It had some hats, it had some shirts that I've seen in other stores across the different planets, but I wasn't really interested. The only one that I really like is that one shirt I tried to buy last time, but it doesn't look like it works on the female character. I tried on these boots and got them as well as a green pair, but that was really it. I wasn't too impressed with the clothes here. After walking out, I grabbed a hot dog and ended up with a double dog that I've read about. And then I decided to go down this dark alleyway to figure out if there was anything back here. I really didn't want to miss anything in this video.
Hey,
This one person was chillin', so I decided to take a seat,
how's it
and
going?
they gave me the creeps. So I headed out of there pretty quickly. I saw these guns on the wall and didn't think to actually go check it out in there because I didn't actually want to buy a gun, but I did stop by this store later on. There were a few more dead bodies, and I was getting the feeling that this was kind of a chaotic, neutral place, but it didn't seem like anything special. When I came out of this hallway, I saw this big giant glowing ball in the middle of the area and figured that there must be a lot of shopping places around here. I found a back room with a giant glowing lady who was trying to say something, but I was pretty distracted by the NPCs floating in the air. This is where I feel like the characters were pretty glitchy on this planet, but I couldn't tell if it was the server or not. When I went up the stairs, I found this sign, and I decided to visit Centermass, which had a ton of stuff for vehicles. I wasn't totally interested because I'm not really sure about the implications or the uses for any of these, but it's pretty cool, especially when it comes to ship combat, knowing that these things are in the game. I went up to the top of the North Tower, and the views were absolutely incredible. I loved the details of the wind to make it seem more realistic, and I had a lot of high hopes for this area. It seemed very built out from the exterior, and I thought that there was going to be a lot here. Looking back at the sign, those two areas were Group C, and Group A and B didn't really have access to anything. There were no elevator buttons, and the one that did have an elevator button, it just looked like it headed to the North Tower. So, I'm not really sure if this is just the game being incomplete or forgotten about for this planet, but I really was kind of disappointed. I wandered into another back alley where I found this lady who was just kind of staring at me. I looked it up afterwards and realized that she can actually give you quests, but when I went back and I asked her for work, she said no.
I've got better places to be.
So I guess I'm maybe not a criminal enough. The only crime stat I've ever gotten was from being a bad driver, and I don't think she's gonna give me any kind of task to park illegally. So I hopped on the train and I visited the convention center, which was closed because there were no events going on, but I was still able to get a snack from this convenience stand. I hopped back on the train to go to the spaceport to explore the area because I didn't really get to after my landing. But the views of the city were really incredible on this train ride, and I really enjoyed it. When I got to the spaceport, 0 out of 10. No plushies, really nothing going on except for this really weird and out of place VIP lounge. There was this one convenience store that had some fruit and burritos, but that was really it. So I hopped back on the train and I went back to the main shopping area, and after some research, I realized that I missed a few things. There's 3 different zones: the food zone, the finance zone, and the retail zone. I totally missed all of these food areas, but I was actually more disappointed that I found them. Things like this pizza cart didn't have anything for sale, and this is what made the planet feel so unfinished. I found this Asian cart that should probably be selling containers of noodles like I've seen on other planets, and another empty pizza cart. I truly felt like I was missing something in this area that I really wasn't getting from the other places like New Babbage or Orison. But what kind of saved the day was this place called Cubby Blast that I had walked by earlier and didn't step inside. I knew that they sold weapons, which I didn't really need, but they had a ton of spacesuits and armor, and this is what I was looking for. I got a pink undersuit, this sea green and black suit, and a ton of different purple armors, pink armors, and sea green armors. This was definitely the place to be, with a bunch of us having a fashion show outside, and I think I have enough different colored armors for a while. I also found this place called Dumper's Depot, and it looked like a place where you could sell recycled material, but I wasn't exactly sure what any of these things were for, so if you do know, let me know in the comments below. They also had this cool area where they were repairing some kind of ship, and they had a commodity shop. And I'll give credit where credit is due. Area 18 definitely had the prettiest, most put together finance division, and I'm really excited for logistics to become a bigger part of the game, especially with organizations. Since I had taken quite a long time to figure out where I was going and what I had missed and what I was still kind of missing from this planet, I decided to head back up to the top of the tower because it was nighttime and the city looked absolutely gorgeous. Full disclosure, this was my first time to ArcCorp, never mind Area 18, with or without friends. So this was an interesting and fun trip for me. This was probably the easiest spaceport to get to and from, but with that being said, I had a lot of high hopes for this area with the pretty lights coming in and out, and I was highly disappointed. I think that the area needs to be completed a little bit more, and there's a lot of potential for how much is already built in this area. However, the rooms were pretty nice, and there is shopping for pretty much anything that you would need, especially if you're just starting out. So I can understand why this is a starting area for some people. If you frequent Area 18 or ArcCorp, let me know what I missed in the comments, and let me know where you want me to check out next. If you like Star Citizen content, be sure to like and subscribe to support the channel, and I post new content every Thursday and Sunday with shorts in between. Until next time, Elfie out.